Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Tuesday, June 22nd edition of the MMAOB Daily Podcast. I'm your host, as always, Adam Martin, joined here on Tuesday evening by my boy, Big Marcel. Marcel, man, thanks for joining me again. We have to do a later show today. You're watching the game, I guess? Like, what happened? Who was playing today?
Today was like a double game at the same time, man. It was Czech Republic against England and Scotland against Croatia. Yeah.
All right, Marcel, I got to embarrass you off the bat, okay? And we got to talk about this, okay? And I love you, but you put the tweet out today saying, Marcel says, I didn't get verified, and obviously we're all like, how, right? Because Marcel is one of the best guys in the business. We all know that. I just asked Marcel, I'm like, what happened, right? And he said he didn't put you're supposed to send 3 links to your articles, but he used like articles of people referencing his like fight announcements. He was supposed to put his own work. No wonder you didn't get it, Marcel. You'll get it in 30 days, buddy. So that's why I keep telling everyone, like, maybe you didn't read the criteria properly. It's not easy to get it. Like, I waited 5 years to get it, you know? They denied me a long time ago. So I know how you feel, Marcel, but you at least you know you screwed up, so you have a good chance to get it. But I know that you were disappointed, Marcel, and I know a lot of people were, so I just wanted to bring that up. Anyways, I talked about UFC with AJ yesterday, UFC Vegas 29. I didn't get a chance to recap it with you. Any thoughts on that card on the weekend? Because obviously I didn't get a chance to talk about it with you. Any takeaways? Korean Zombie obviously won some other fights. Any thoughts?
Yeah, some good finishes on there, man. I think Casey O'Neill looked very good in her fight. I think Ricky Glenn.
Dude, I mean, that's the one that I didn't believe that happened. Like, that quick of a knockout, that surprised me. That was the surprise of the card for me, that one.
He should keep it as Ricky Glenn. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you do like this.
Yeah.
And what was the other? Choi looked great again.
Yep.
You know, we both picked him, so that's good. And what's the co-main event? Yeah, Spivak Oleinik was probably
I honestly wasn't impressed, and I did have money on him and thought he won, but it wasn't impressive to me. What do you think?
Yeah, same, man. I wasn't impressed either, but he did what he had to do, you know, and it was the biggest win for him to date. So, yeah.
And then Grant Vera, that was a great fight, as you know. Guy Bruno Silva had a nice knockout. Matt Brown. I called the Nikolai Negumereanu guy. Yeah, it's just, again, Kimmer's not that great, Marcel. We were talking about it last week. Jandiroba had a great knockout. KS Williams looked good. And then I think that Rocky Martinez should beat Josh Friesen. How did you score that fight? I didn't even ask you.
I think Rocky won 2 fights. Yeah,
it just sucks for him because he's 0-3 now. You think he gets that 4th fight in his deal, or you think they're going to cut him, Marcel?
Likely going to cut him, man, but that would suck. Yeah.
But maybe they could do him and Chris Barnett. That's what I said yesterday. The 2 big guys. The 2 guys that really should be at 205. Anyways, guys, just wanted to get Marcel's quick thoughts on that. So,
thanks for embarrassing me, by the way. I really appreciate it.
I had to, man. I had to. No, I'm kidding. It's all with love, Marcel. But the point is, like, I know you're probably like a little upset about it, but you made a mistake, so you do it again. You try again.
To be really honest, man, I didn't expect to get verified at all.
It's not a big deal, man. Honestly, like, again, I didn't have this through 10 years. I know some people are getting, some people aren't. I think it's kind of random, but again, Marcel made a mistake when he applied. He's admitting it now. He's going to fix it. He'll get that check mark. Because the thing is, Marcel needs it because he always gets these imposters, guys. Like, he needs it, actually.
That's the thing.
I know. You actually need it. Like, I agree with that. Yep. No, I agree, Marcel. All right, let's talk about UFC this weekend, guys. UFC Vegas 30, Marcel. Looking forward to this card and looking forward to talking about it with you. Gane and Volkov. Your 13 fights, Marcel. We'll start with the bottom, work our way up. But while I pull up the odds and everything, just give me your overall thoughts on this weekend's card.
I mean, it's not a bad card, man. I think the placement of certain fights are a little bit weird, I think Barcelos deserves to be on the main card. I think Preux against Rakhmonov could be on the main card, I mean, listen, man, no disrespect to these guys, but Ovince, Preux, Tanner, Boser, I know it's a co-main event, but is it that great? I don't know. Danilo, Marquez, Kennedy, and Zechuku doesn't have to be for me on the main card, you know what I mean? But those 2, I would have changed. But hey, man, the UFC, like I said, man, in the Dutch podcast as well, the UFC absolutely loves to have those 265 guys on the main card, for example, and there is always an unranked heavyweight fight on the main card.
Yeah, there always is.
It's actually funny, man, because let me say this. In that Dutch podcast, the host, Dennis Corman, he talked to Henry Hooft from Hard Knocks about that. And he's like, Dennis always calls it the Marcel special because I always complain about it. And he's like to Henry, like, what do you think about it? And he's like, he thinks the same way. He's like the fighters who are putting the work in, and he's like the heavyweights do put the work in as well. But if it's not quality-wise a bigger fight than another fight, the other fight deserves to be there, you know? And that's exactly what it is, you know what I mean? And I don't want to shit on the UFC or whatever, but it's just being real, you know?
No, I think you're right. I think there's some, like UFC 264, Greg Hardy and Ty Dubase on the main card.
Yeah.
It's because there's probably going to be a knockout in that fight, but really doesn't deserve. If you look at that card, it's completely stacked, right, with the prelims. So I know what you're saying, Marcel, but you know what? Let's get into the fights here. Now, we've actually already talked about this fight. I think it was like last month or something, or maybe.
Yeah, and we both had the different pick.
Yeah, so let me hear your thoughts on this one. Yancy Medeiros taking on Damir Hadzovic. The first question I have for you is, do we find out what happened? Was it a COVID thing, or we never found out, right?
Yeah, Hadzovic had health issues, so he got pulled from the fight.
What was the health issue? That's the thing. Like, they never said. So I'm assuming it was COVID, right?
Yeah, probably.
Bean Cat's here, and he says Hardy's a draw in the U.S. That's why he's on pay-per-view. No, you're right. I mean, I get it. And there's going to be a knockout. The point is, this card. I mean, there's a few fights that could have been shifted down, and there's one in particular that I think should be on the main card, but it's not. Anyways, let's talk about this fight, which is a clear prelim, Marcel. Yancy Medeiros, Damir Hadzovic. So again, we broke it down like a month ago, and right now the odds, Damir is still the favorite, minus 150, Yancy plus 120. Yeah, Marcel, I mean, has your thoughts changed in this fight? I picked Damir the first time, even with this health issue or whatever. I still feel like he's the fresher fighter. I just don't trust Yancy's chin at this point in his career, guys, and it's just a fade on Yancy. Are you going with the Yancy still, or are you changing your pick?
I mean, what kind of a bitch would I be to a month later? Nothing different has happened to go with a different pick. I mean, I'm keep with my pick. I'm keep going with Yancy in this fight. Probably decision win, but I don't know. It's really a 50-50 fight to me, man. Who shows up here? We all know both guys are very inconsistent. So for me, it's who shows up.
Yeah, it's kind of like that Gwen and Silva fight last week, just kind of random.
Yeah.
I'm leaning towards Hadzovic just because I feel like he is the fresher guy. You know what? Remember when he fought Mukanyo, and I was thinking about this today. He was so upset, right? Because it was such a quick stoppage, and that's basically what happened. Like, he went through a whole training camp, and he got to fight for 44 seconds. That was over a year ago. I mean, this guy, I actually feel bad for this dude now. Like, you put so much work in these camps and you only fought for 45 seconds or so.
Remember Moicano is like, dude, so pissed. And he's like,
stop the takedown.
I wanted to fight longer. And Hadzovic is like, then you shouldn't have submitted me.
Yeah, I know. That was good. I like that one. Anyways, it was interesting. But yeah, I'm still leaning towards Hadzovic. We'll go to the next fight here. This is a new fight. And this one's between Charles Rosa and Justin James. It's at 145. So both guys have been bouncing around lately, especially James. He's kind of – I was looking at his weight classes, Marcel, 155, 145, and 150 catch weight. So he's going back down to 145 here. He's on a 3-fight losing skid against Charles Rosa, who also is coming off a loss to Derek Minner. Right now we got Rosa as the favorite, minus 175, plus 150 on Justin, the Guitar Hero James. What do you think about this one, man?
Man, the Guitar Hero, yeah, man. He had that amazing UFC debut on short notice against Frank Camacho. And after that, he lost 3 straight. Charles Rosa, I expected him to beat Derek Minner, but Derek Minner was better than him. You know, I didn't expect that. For that, he won against Aguilar, a loss to Bryce Mitchell, which was like the one of the most dominating fights I saw in a long time from Bryce Mitchell's side to Rosa. Yeah, it's listen, man, I'm not convinced. I think Rosa is a legit fighter. You know, he's okay. I don't think he's a top fighter, but he's okay. But Justin James, I'm still not sure if he's really UFC material, man. He comes for war in the first round, and after that, he kind of fades, in my opinion. I'm taking Charles Rosa here. I think he submits him. Third round submission for Charles Rosa.
Yeah, I mean, I got respect for both these guys. Like, Justin James has been around forever. He actually fought this event in 2009 called Battle at the Border here between Ontario fighters and fighters from Michigan, which is pretty cool. And I saw some of these guys come up through the local scene, including Jordan Parsons, who passed away. He was on that card too. So it's pretty cool. And there's a few other Canadian guys. So he's been around the sport forever, man. And I got respect for a guy that took that long to get to the UFC.
For sure.
And I remember betting on Camacho. That was shocking to me. I couldn't believe that. I mean, it was obviously a terrible, terrible play in hindsight, but I just couldn't believe that. And since then, he's just been losing every fight. He's getting finished every fight too. I'm with you, man. I mean, I know I watched his fights in Michigan too. They're on Fight Pass. He dominates these guys, but he's fighting guys that are low level. And, Camacho's not a great fighter either. Really, it's not a great win in hindsight. Rosa, I'm with you, Marcel. Like he's beatable, as his record shows. You look at Marcel, he hasn't actually been able to put together a win streak. He has no win streak in the UFC. It's just one fight, one win, one loss, etc. But he really has fought some good competition, and he's performed well at times, and he's pretty well-rounded. He's got, like, a pretty good striking, like, it's like karate style. It's interesting. And his ground game's obviously good. It didn't look good in his last fight against Minner. He also got dropped in that fight, too, which is really concerning. So he could get knocked out here, but I don't know, man. I still think he probably is able to win a decision, Marcel, because James, to me, doesn't really have good takedown defense. The numbers show that. They support that. Poor takedown defense. He could put out Rosa in the first round, but I think he's a guy that really does gas after the first round. We saw that in the Tucker fight. Hurt Tucker early, got tired, and submitted. I wouldn't be surprised if Rosa did finish it, but at this point, Rosa just kind of needs to get a win. So I'm thinking he just grinds it out with his wrestling, Marcel. And you're in agreement with that, I guess?
Yeah, I said late submission in the third round.
Yeah, I can see that too. Yeah. It is kind of a fight with some variance, though. Like, James has power. There's no doubt. So he could catch Rosa in the first, minute or two of the fight. But, Rosa's pretty tough, man. He's tough to put away. Like, even Shane Burgos, that wasn't like a pure knockout. Like, the referee stopped the fight. It was a standing TKO, but took a lot. Yeah, remember, right? So he's tough. Trains at a great camp. I got to go with him, man. Anyways, next fight here. This is another fight, Marcel. We broke it down. I think this was 2 months ago.
Yeah.
Julia Villa against Julia Stoliarenko, and the odds for this one, guys, I'll read them out quickly. Minus 375 for Julia, plus 280 for I should say Julia Villa, and then plus 280 for Julia Stoliarenko. She spells her name differently. So yeah, we all know what happened. The girl fainted on the stool, or on the scale. Actually, it was crazy. She fainted twice. It was absolutely insane. I remember watching it. I was like, "Holy crap! Like, this is insane! Like, I've never seen someone faint." I've seen people faint the scale, but never twice. And they weighed her in too. It was crazy. Remember, Marcel? It was absolutely weird.
I didn't saw it live. I remember you tweeting about it.
I was sitting there watching.
I had dinner,
and I'm like, "What the hell's going on?" Like, this girl just collapsed, and they put her back in the scale. Anyways, fight got canceled, and I mean, if anything, I feel like that means she's even more susceptible to get knocked out in this fight. If anything, that's what I think. That's a scary incident, and she cuts a lot of weight. We know fighters that cut a ton of weight are prone to being knocked out because they're draining their bodies of water and their brains of water. I don't know where Julie is even. Is she training with James Krause? Like, did she even go there, or you know? Yeah, I don't know, because I know she was had the offer, and I don't even know what's going on. But honestly, I don't even really care where she's training right now. I just think she's a way better fighter. And Julia Stoliarenko, the problem is she's not really a wrestler. She's a grappler, but she pulls guard. She could pull. She's like Paul Craig, kind of, right, with that armbar. She could do it here, but I think that Julia Villa is going to be too smart. I like Julia Villa to probably stop her, Marcel. What are you thinking, man?
Yeah, man. Julia Avila, she lost her last fight against Sajara Eubanks. But before that, she looked great, man, in the UFC, and also before she fought in the UFC and Invicta, she also looked good, and for some reason I have a weak spot for Julia Avila. Don't ask me why, but I really like her
too, man. I think she's cool.
Yeah. She's really she's really cool. I really like her, how she fights as well. Stoliarenko, I've never been really convinced about her. She has that crazy fight with Lisa Forzosa and Invicta, that bloody one where she won a split decision title fight. But against Yana Kunitskaya, that was actually not her UFC debut, because she fought in the UFC before against Leah Latson after the Ultimate Fighter finale, where she lost a split decision, which was close, I remember, if I'm correctly. The Kunitskaya fight she lost, and then Avila now. I think, honestly, this ain't a good fight for her, man. I think Avila will win this fight any day.
Yeah.
So
I like her a lot too. I'm just checking to see her camp right now. She's training at some gym in Oklahoma. It's a different gym than the one she was kicked out of.
Okay.
For allegedly hurting her sparring partner or something. I don't know the whole story, but she tweeted. Remember a few months ago they were talking about it? Anyways, the point is she's not with that team anymore. But just skill-wise, she's just such a more skilled striker. And I think she probably finishes Julia Stoliarenko in this fight. If not, I think she wins a quick decision. Because again, Julia's not a wrestler. What were we saying?
Imagine kicking out Julia Avila from your gym.
I mean, I don't know what happened. Like, she must have hurt someone. You don't want that in your
Yeah,
gym. Like, I
but
used to go to the
yeah, true.
yeah. I mean, I trained, and some guys would be known for hurting each other. Like, and it's bad. You don't want to hurt people you're training
You,
with.
you
Like,
saw you saw the Strickland video with
I did see the
those
Strickland
guys.
video. Any thoughts on that? Quickly before we
You mean the reaction from him in his car, or you mean the
both, I
actual video
guess. I
that
mean,
happened?
okay. So this guy Orlando Sanchez, I believe his name is BJJ
Yeah.
guy. I think he's a heavyweight. He went for this like standing arm lock, and it's a move you don't want to use in training. Like when I used to roll a little, like I didn't roll a lot, but when I did, like you wouldn't really want to go for like knee bars and like heel hooks and stuff. You don't want to like hurt your like training partners, right? And like that move, you can like twist a guy's arm and potentially break it. And Sean has a fight coming up. That's what he was complaining about. They're cool now apparently, but he put a video talking smack to the keyboard warriors. Any thoughts quickly?
Yeah, I mean the thing is, it's between them, it's between those two, you know.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
I don't know who uploaded the video, but the guy who uploaded the video actually made the, how do you say that, the commotion
They
heavier
shouldn't have put
than
the
it would
video
have
on the
been.
internet. Yeah, I
Yeah,
agree. That's just
exactly.
something to
Yeah.
stay in house. I agree. That's stupid. Especially because apparently they're cool. Anyways, let's get on to the next fight, guys. Marcin Prachnio against Ike Villanueva. I want to say you picked Prachnio to beat Roundtree. Did you? I think you did.
No,
Or
I
no?
didn't.
No, you
No,
didn't.
no.
Okay. I wanted to say you called that one. I didn't see it coming. Anyways,
No,
he's a pretty big favorite here. Minus 190. Ike Villanueva, his opponent, plus 165. And according to the odds, this is only the second time that Prachnio has been a favorite in the UFC. And Ike has been the underdog, I think, in all of his fights. So, any thoughts on this one, man?
Yeah, this is a really, no disrespect, but low tire 205 fight. Prachnio is very hittable, and you can knock him out. And Ike Villanueva has that knockout power. At the same time, Ike Villanueva doesn't really look good. He beat Vinicius Moreira, but everybody beats Vinicius Moreira in the UFC. You know what I mean? And knocks him out as well. So for me,
I know. That guy's
it's
no
like,
chin at all, man. That guy's chin is really weak.
it's crazy. And he got a good win, man, actually, on the
Yeah.
contender
I
series in
know.
Brazil. So
I know.
you know, this is a toss-up for me, man. I'm going with Prachnio, but I'm absolutely not sure on this one. I don't think I ever picked Prachnio to win in the UFC yet. So this is the first time I'm picking him. Yeah, let's see what's happening. I'm not sure. You know, he looked great in one championship. That's the crazy thing, you know. And he
Yep.
had some good opponents there. He
Yep.
fought Gilbert Galvao. He got Leandro Ataides,
Yep.
Alessandro Machado. He had got some good opponents there, you know. And the UFC didn't put it together so far. Won against Roundtree, which was a close fight. I think he won that fight, but was a close fight. So yeah, let's see what happens. I'm picking Prachnio. Don't know how, don't know where, don't know what round, but I'm picking him.
Yeah, I mean, he surprised me, guys, in the last fight. I actually don't even think I thought that Roundtree had won the fight, but it was close and whatever. I mean, he pulled it off. I think it was more a case of Roundtree just really not fighting to his potential. I was watching that fight back, and it's just like he didn't move forward. The other guys that beat him moved forward. They just moved forward on him. Ankalaev, Rodriguez, and Alvey. And even that one fight in one, he got knocked down early and then came back and won. Like, this guy, his chin is really sketchy, guys. Like, it's sketch, Marcel. I don't trust this guy's chin at all. And Ike, like, listen, he's not a great fighter. He's limited. We all know that, guys. But he's like that grinding type, and you have to, like, kill this guy to knock him out. Like, he's got a brick head, Marcel. Like, what's Prachnio going to do? Just outpoint him for 3 rounds? I guess that's the way he'd win. But, again, Ike's not going to go in there and just lose, guys. Like, he needs to win this fight, you know, to really stick around the UFC, I think. And I think he could pull it off as an underdog, man. So I'm thinking Ike can pull it off, guys. Plus one. I don't know if I said the odds. It was minus 190, Prachnio plus 165 for Ike. I think he could win this fight. I think Ike can knock him out. So I'll take Ike as an upset, Marcel. I mean, it's not like a super confident pick, but, you know, I'm just not I'm not impressed by Prachnio, man. I'm just saying, like, I'm not impressed by Ike either. You know what I mean? But someone's got to win the fight, Marcel. I'll take the plus money, I guess.
You got to pick somebody here, you know?
Yeah, you got to take someone. I'll take the guy who's tougher. He's like that Rocky Martinez guy last week. Very similar type of fighting style.
Yeah, actually it is, yeah.
Yeah, he gets you against the fence. He'll clinch you. He'll throw uppercuts. Maybe that's my call. He'll knock him out with an uppercut from the clinch against the fence. There's my call. All right. So this fight, when did you find out about this? Jeremiah Wells guy filling in against Wally. When did you find out about that against Wally Alves?
It was actually, I was looking at UFC stats and it was listed, and it was, well, if it's listed at UFC stats, it's done, you know? And then I posted it, and immediately Wells' manager retweeted it. So, yeah.
Yeah. So I saw it exactly as you. I was on UFC stats. I think it was on Monday, and I'm looking at the fights, and then I just refreshed it, and then all of a sudden they said this Jeremiah Wells guy. That's where I found it. I didn't see anyone else talking about this, but there is this one guy who's like, I think he's Russian or something, does these YouTube videos, predictions and stuff. He had it out 3 days ago. He said Jeremiah Wells against Warlley Alves. This guy's the only guy who had that. Beyond weird. Beyond weird. That's why I was asking you, because I was wondering if this was known that people knew about this. That's just bizarre. That's the only guy, some random predictor on. I shouldn't say random. I mean, I can't remember the guy's name, but he's on. I want to say he's Russian. He could be something else, anyways. But you guys might know what I'm talking about. It's random though. It's really random. Anyways, Jeremiah Wells is filling in short notice, guys, and I mean he's a pretty good fighter. Like I watched his tape this week. He looked good, man. He's got really good boxing. Like he's got huge power, decent grappling. This is tough though. He's coming on super short notice, like a week's notice against Warlley Alves. And give me your thoughts on this one, Marcel. We got Warlley Alves minus 230, Jeremiah Wells plus 190. And I gotta say, I did think that Ramazan Emeev could have beaten by decision. That's what I was thinking. Emeev was just going to outpoint Alves. I'm not sure your thoughts. If you want to give your brief thoughts on that, but I lean towards Alves in this fight, Marcel, just because he didn't have the full camp and he's got power, submissions, wrestling, everything. He's just a good fighter. But Wells has got power. He's pretty impressive. So give me your thoughts on this one, man.
I mean, Ramazan Emeev can pretty much almost outpoint anybody with a decision.
Yep.
Warlley Alves. Everybody was like, he's kind of done. Everybody was like, he doesn't do that great anymore. And then he refound himself, man, and he knocked out. He stopped Munir Lazes. I think many people were kind of surprised with it. So maybe some people weren't. But. I mean, the hype was there for Lazes, and Alves took that hype away, and got the performance of the night bonus as well, if I remember correctly. If you look at Jeremiah Wells, he was actually signed in September last year to fight in the UFC against Miguel Baeza, but that fight didn't happen. Now he gets his debut fight. He's a good fighter, man. I saw many fights of him in the CFFC and the CES promotion. The thing is, here, like you said, it's short notice, and it's against a quality opponent. It's really against a guy who has been a long time in the UFC. Actually, has a win over Colby Covington, a submission win in 2015.
Yep.
This guy is still, and he showed in his last fight, he's still good. The thing is, for Jeremiah Wells, this is a tough debut, man. This is a really tough debut, and definitely if you take this fight on a week's notice, less than a week's notice, maybe.
Yep.
Would he have a full preparation? Maybe I gave him more of a chance, but I go with Alves in this one, man. I think Alves gets it done. I don't know how. I probably go with a decision win because I think Wells is a tough guy. But Alves for me as well. Decision here.
I know that Rube said he's been training for a fight. Like he's been planning to come back and taking short notice fights. So I'm assuming the guy will be in shape and won't make weight. I'll say that right now. But I do want to mention that, this guy's not a prospect. He's 34 years old. Like, he's actually older than Alves. He's only 30. So it's an older guy who's getting a shot in the UFC now, and he deserves it. He's looked good. Like, he's good. I like this guy. He's looked good, man. But here's the other thing, Marcel. I forgot to mention this. He hasn't fought in like 2 years. And coming on short notice, that's too many knocks against him and against a good fighter. He's not fighting a bum. You know what I mean? Like, he's not fighting a guy who sucks. Warlley Alves is super dangerous. Yes, this is the guy, Vladimir Zek. That's the guy, Bulgarian. Sorry, I said the wrong country. I said Russian. That's it. That's the guy. So he had the news of the Jeremiah Wells fight like a few days ago before anyone else did, which I thought was really surprising, Marcel. I was like, what the heck? This guy has it before Marcel? Like, so
you got to send me that link, man.
I'll look for it. I'll look for it. Maybe, exactly. But you're right, Glenn. Thanks for the shout out there, man. That's the guy's name. Bornican says he doesn't trust Warlley Alves past the first round and a half. I mean, his cardio is not great, but I was in Brazil, man, for that fight where he knocked out Sergio Moraes in the third round. Watched that fight again yesterday. Man, and he still was dangerous in that third round. And to be honest with you, he was dominating Randy Brown and was just dumb and made a mistake and got caught in a triangle choke. Like, he was dominating that fight, guys. He did get tired, though, and I agree with you, Born Again. That's the big concern. So I'm not like in love with Warlley Alves here by any means. I'm not an absolute, because the guy fighting is good. Like, I like Jeremiah Wells, guys. He looked good to me, but again, he had the full camp. He's the veteran, and like you said, Marcel, like, even the losses really. Kamaru Usman's not a bad loss. Randy Brown's not a bad loss. James Carson's not a bad loss, and Brian Barberina is really not that bad of a loss either. So this guy's pretty solid, man. I got to go with Warley Alves in this one. We'll see, though. Because, like I said, Wells is pretty good, guys. I don't know what you guys thought about Wells, but I think he looked good. I don't know if you guys watched his fights or not. There's a few on YouTube, I think, and there's some on Fight Pass. Okay, let's go to the next one here. Shavkat Rakhmonov against Michel Prazeres Tractor. And this fight has Rakhmonov. He's one of the bigger favorites in the card here, minus 275, Prazeres plus 235. And Marcel, I can't remember where I saw this. Saw it somewhere this morning. I can't remember where it was, but Rakhmonov's. I got a good tip that he's training at Sanford MMA. Gilbert Burns said it. That's who it was. Gilbert was talking to John JHK, and he said that he's training at Sanford, and he said this kid's like an absolute killer in the gym. So give me your thoughts on this one. And by the way, Beancat says he thinks that Alves can beat or lose almost any welterweight on any night. I agree, man. He's that talented, but again, does have the hiccups. But yeah, Rakhmonov Prazeres. Give me your thoughts.
Shavkat Rakhmonov will have a 10-inch reach advantage against Michel Prazeres, which is crazy, and the height difference is also crazy. We all know Prazeres. He wants to get that fight to the ground as soon as possible, probably. That's how he fights, I was actually kind of surprised that he lost to Nordiev in 2019,
So was I, man. It's weird how he's still in the UFC and Nardiev's not, right?
Yeah, but yeah, before that, man, he had like a winning streak of like 8 or 9, and not against the worst guys with the Zach Cummins, Gilbert Burns, for example. He defeated him going back at at welterweight, or lightweight. Sorry. Now he came to welterweight. He immediately he lost his last fight at welterweight. He actually won against Bartosz Fabinski before that, and against Zach Cummins. Rakhmonov. I really like Rakhmonov, man. Already in M1, I think he's a great fighter. He punches hard. He won his fight against Oliveira, a guillotine choke in the first round. As long as he doesn't get on the bottom and lets him get controlled by Prazeres, he should be able to win this fight, I think. Definitely the reach will have to do something with it, I think. Will he finish Prazeres? Maybe in the later rounds, man. I don't know. Prazeres pretty tough, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I would go with Rakhmonov, second round, TKO, ground and pound, and then he has to watch out that he doesn't get lured into a submission, because Prazeres is always dangerous.
Beancat says he's training Sam with Rafael Fiziev. That's awesome. Michel's going to quit at some point, says Daniel. We'll see. Well, I mean, listen, it's hard to pick Michel here because there's a few things going against him. First off, he hasn't fought in over 2 years. It's been 2.5 years. That's a long layoff. He's 39 years old, so he's super old now. Rakhmonov is super young. He's only 26. That's a big age gap. You guys know I love betting against that age gap. The reach difference, too, is 10 inches. 10 inches is a lot. There's also, I think it's a 7-inch height advantage. So, I mean, the guy has all the advantages on paper, right, Rakhmonov. But man, I mean, Prazeres is just one of these guys that's really able to get you to the ground and really control you. And he's did it to bigger guys like Zach Cummins, who is a middleweight. Like that was a quality win, Marcel. He's a big grappler. Mads Burnell, like Gilbert Burns. I mean, this guy is, to be honest with you guys, he's pretty underrated, and he's won a lot of fights as an underdog too. So, listen, I just told you guys all the advantages for Rakhmonov. How can I pick against him? I can't. But I have watched some of his fights in the past, and he can be controlled in the ground a little bit. So it is a little bit of a worry. But again, that age gap, the reach gap, I think that Rakhmonov probably can just finish this fight and doesn't even have to worry about getting out wrestled for 3 rounds. But we'll see. I mean, Marcel, I do think there is a little bit of risk in this one, guys, just because Prazeres has did it so many times. Like, he's just grinded guys out, Marcel. It's crazy what this guy does.
He can do it.
Yeah, exactly. So, but at the same time, again, this guy's never lost. We've never seen him lose. He always finds a way to win, and he finishes fights, Marcel. He finishes everyone. So, yeah, I got to go with Rakhmonov. I'm just saying, like, it wouldn't completely shock me, guys, if he did get out wrestled by Prazeres, just because, this could be a big test, and we're just kind of thinking it's a pushover. I don't know if it is. All right, let's go to the next one here. Last prelim, and this was the fight I said earlier. This fight should be on the main card. Ioni Barcelos against Timor Fallieff, and I like this fight a lot, Marcel. Right now we got Ioni Barcelos is minus 210, Fallieff plus 175. Marcel, give me your pick in this one.
Yeah, man. I mean, let's start with Timor Fallieff. I've always been a big fan of his, man, before he got in the UFC. Finally got signed with the UFC in 2020, made his debut against Trevin Jones. got screwed by Chris Toyoni in the first round by not stopping the fight, and then Chris Toyoni stopped the fight in the second round to give Trevin Jones to win, which respect to Trevin Jones, man. He took the fight on short notice against a very tough opponent and finished him. Fight got overturned in no contest because of, what was it, marijuana use or whatever? I don't know. Then he defeated Martin Day in a very one-sided grappling kind of a fight where people were really talking bad about him. And he said after the fight, listen, guys, I needed to win this fight because I didn't win my first fight. I need to have the win under my belt in the UFC before I can do something else, you know? And okay, respect that. Now he gets Leone Barcelos. And to be really honest, UFC is doing Leone Barcelos dirty, man. I mean,
yep, I agree.
Yeah, the dude deserves a top 15 guy. Was booked against Philly. Bout got cancelled. Was booked against Rafael Assunção. Assunção withdrew. And then he was booked against Marcelo Rojo on short notice. And then Barcelos got COVID. So the thing is, now we fight Fallieff. Maybe the UFC is like, yeah, Fallieff, it's maybe a stepping stone for Barcelos to get to that top 15. But Fallieff is a very difficult opponent, man. Definitely if the fight hits the ground. The thing is, man, I don't understand this, to be honest, man. Barcelos, how old is he now? I think he's in
34.
34. Yeah. And the UFC took so long for him to get him signed with the UFC. That's already what bothering me. I think he should have been in the UFC earlier, you know, and now he's 34, has to fight Fallieff. I almost never pick against Fallieff, but I'm going to do it this time, man. I think Leone Barcelos wins a unanimous decision in this fight. That's just everything. What I think about Leone Barcelos is if I pick against Timor Fallieff, which I always never do. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, both these guys they're really good guys. Like, I think this is a tough fight to call, honestly. I think it's close. It's way closer than the line indicates, I think. Both guys are solid, don't get me wrong. I love Barcelos. I'm with you, though, completely, Marcel, and the fact that you mentioned this, I was going to bring it up. I think the UFC signed him too late, too. I mean, he's 34 now, guys. He's been there since 2018. He's had 5 fights. He's still not getting top 15 guys. Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, they got to give him a top 15 guy. I was actually at his fight in Brazil when he fought this guy, Carlos Hoshi, and Marcel. He beat the crap out of this dude. Like, it was one of the worst beatings I've ever seen. He beat this guy up. He's looked good since then. He's a good fighter, don't get me wrong. I really like the guy. I'm just saying, like, I feel like he's not – I don't know if he's in his prime right now. Like, it seems like he is, but is he? I don't know. I mean, he's beating up on guys that aren't top 15. Timor Fallieff, he had a tough debut, like you said, Marcel, against Trevin Jones. Technically, he gets knocked out in the second round, though. The fight could have been stopped. Bounce back, let's see, it's Martin Day. Guy's pretty solid, man. I mean, he's got a good amount of experience. He's got knockout power. He's just well-rounded. He's got knockout power, submissions, everything. Like, I actually think this guy can win this fight, Marcel. I think the odds are off, man. I think he can pull it off. Plus 180 odds on a guy that I think is competitive in this fight. I'll take that. So I think it's going to be close, guys, but I'm leaning a little bit towards Fallieff just because I do think he is the better striker a little bit. I know that Barcelos got power. We saw that against Kurt Hollabaugh. That was just absolutely dirty knockout. It was awesome. But Fallieff's very, very fast, Marcel. He's very difficult to punch. Trevin Jones was just a little bit fast. Trevin Jones, we know he's really underrated, I think, after seeing his last fight, right? So, yeah, I think this guy could win. I'm not saying, again, it's a lock or anything like that, but, you know, Barcelos is great. I didn't want to pick against him, Marcel, but I was actually pretty impressed by watching Fallieff, man. I think he's solid, Marcel. I know you've liked him for a long time, too.
He's great.
Yeah.
I gotta tell you,
both guys are great. Both guys are. It's hard to pick. It's not easy. I hate picking fights where it's two good guys, Marcel.
Listen, man, I hate this matchup because I think Barcelos deserves a guy in the top 15. I think they're actually doing dirty with Fallieff because this is a close fight. You know, I think another guy in the top 15. I know some guys in the top 15, which are easy, not easy, but easier fights than Timor Fallieff for Barcelos, I think.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Beancat says Tyone had money on Jones. Yeah, he was plus 400. I didn't have him. I thought Fallieff would win, and then we saw what happened. I got to be honest, though, I've watched that fight back a few times now, and it's like, I don't think it was the worst non-stoppage ever, to be honest with you. And the fact that he came back and won kind of proves it, in my opinion. So
you know, Adam, the thing was,
yeah,
listen, if that first thing didn't happen in the first round and he stopped it in the second round,
yeah,
I wouldn't have a problem with it. But he gave Trevin Jones a minute with getting punched and didn't do anything. You know what I mean? So,
I mean, that guy's just so inconsistent, that referee, Chris Tyone. Yeah. Chris Tyone and Chris Lee, they both Chris's. Get them out of the sport, man. Chris Lee is Terrible judge, one of the worst.
Let's steal Wardy Alves slingshot and slingshot him out of there.
All right, let's get to the main card here, Marcel. We'll start off with the lightweights. Hanado Mukanyo against Jai Herbert. I love this fight, by the way. This is going to be a fun one, guys. And Hanado Mukanyo is a big favorite now, Marcel. Minus 240, Jai Herbert plus 200. Give me your thoughts on this one, man.
It's actually funny. Jai Herbert. It's indeed Jai Herbert. I said for years, I said Jai Herbert. Jai Herbert came from the Cage Warriors organization in 2020, where he was a lightweight champion. He looked good there. I actually saw his debut for Cage Warriors live against Ernie Caritas, which he won a unanimous decision. It was in 2018, I think. His debut against Francisco Trinaldo. Let's talk about that one. I think the first round was a clear round for Trinaldo. The second round he took over was a clear round for him. And then when we thought he was going to take over in the third round, Trinaldo put him away. And then Hardy was very upset. So if we look at Renato Moicano, he lost his last fight against Rafael Fiziev, but we all know his specialty, man. He's a very good fighter. I really like him when he's taking the fight to the ground. And actually, he was winning the fight against Brian Ortega. Remember that. He was winning that fight until he gave his neck and Ortega snapped that guillotine off him. So that's a long time ago. He lost 3 of his last 4 fights. His only win came against Damir Hadzovic with that submission what we were talking about earlier in the beginning of the show. The thing is, it's actually a tough fight to pick here, man. I feel that Jai Herbert can win this fight, but he really has to watch out for the submission game of Renato Moicano in this one, man.
Yeah.
I'm going with Herbert. I'm going with a KO in the first round. And this is a pick for the first round because I think if it goes longer, that fight, Moicano has more chance to win the fight. Yeah. So that's why I picked the first round KO.
No, I think it's a solid pick, man. Honestly, like I'm going back and forth on this one a little bit. I think this guy's pretty good. I mean, I know he got knocked out by Trinaldo, but he was winning that fight, man. It was kind of a funny knockout. Like he just got caught and got finished. Like it's not a good sign, obviously, but this guy's dangerous, man. He's got good striking, very dangerous dude. And Moicano's been put out quite a few times. 3 of his last 4 fights have ended with him getting knocked out. He's the biggest favorite on DraftKings too this weekend, which kind of surprised me a little bit. He's a big favorite this weekend. Listen, he definitely has the ground advantage, so I think that's how he'll kind of want to win this fight. That's where Trinaldo was having success on the ground, right? Until the knockout. But yeah, I think Mukanyo probably can get this guy down and control him, Marcel. But I'm telling you guys, like this guy's chin is not great, and Herbert does have power and good striking. So again, Marcel, I think the odds are off on this one. I'm going to lean slightly towards the favorite, but it's like that Valiev and Barcelos fight probably. It's very similar. Like the odds are just a little bit off, I think. So anyways, that's my thoughts. I'm going to get Cole's his comment about Twitter. He says, Usman and Diaz taking shots on Twitter. Now Usman says he wants that fight. Diaz was right. He's going to get a title shot, win or lose at 263. I mean, listen, Leon didn't really help his cause by not finishing the fight. And then it was a bad look in the 5th round. Everyone only remembers the 5th round now. Like, it sucks for Leon because we talked about this last week, Marcel. Like, he did so well. And then, no one's remembering about it now. I don't know. What do you think? You think he's going to get the title shot?
Kamaru Usman versus Colby Covington 2. After that, the winner fights Leon Edwards. It's not that hard, you know. That's what should happen. Nothing else. Listen, man. If Conor wins or loses, I don't give a shit. You know, he never defended the title. You know, if he wins, why should he fight for a title? Let Poirier fight for the title. Let him fight Diaz for the 3rd time. You know what I mean? So the UFC will make a lot of money, man, with a non-title fight between Conor McGregor and Nate Diaz 3. You know what I mean? So why not? Let's do that, and let's don't do stupid things like Kamaru Usman, Nate Diaz. Nobody needs to see that. And definitely, if Nate lose that fight 4-1, you know, he only won the 5th round. So we don't need to see that, to be really honest, man. And I'm a big Nate Diaz fan. I love Nate and Nick Diaz. I think they're amazing, but we really don't need to see that. And Kamaru Usman shouldn't have been pushing for that either. Yeah, no,
I mean, we'll see what happens, but it's pretty clear what it should be. It should be Colby or Leon, right? 2 guys coming off wins at least.
For sure.
Nate's coming off 2 losses in a row. I mean, yeah. Anyways,
If you want to keep this a sport and not a spectacle, do what is right.
Yeah, but I mean, listen, his brother Nick got. I remember I was at the fight with GSP. He was coming off a loss. They gave it to him. I think 2 losses, maybe. Anyways, let's get to back to the fights, guys. We got 5 more left. Welterweights: Nicholas Dalby and Tim Means, Marcel. So this is a rebooking, Marcel. Sergey Kondosko is out and Dane Roberts is out. So they rebooked this fight. And right now the odds for this one, Tim Means minus 125, plus 105 for Nick Dalby. So really close odds here, Marcel. What are you thinking, man?
Yeah, and then Locomotivo against the Dirty Bird. Yeah, Dalby. Like you said, man, his last fight against Daniel Rodriguez was a close fight. He got a unanimous decision win in that one, but I watched it back and it could have been easily going to Daniel Rodriguez. Before that, he has been in the UFC before. Do you remember that fight against Ross Houston and Cage Warriors where they stopped the fight, no contest because the mat was too slippery?
Yeah.
It's actually crazy. He has looked okay since his comeback to the UFC. I think not really super impressive in my opinion. Tim Means, we all know what you get with Tim Means. Tim Means looked good against Mike Perry, I think. He also looked good against Laureano Staropoli. But he got that loss against Daniel Rodriguez where I think he got dropped late in the first round and then he got finished in the second round. The thing is, Dalby is not really a knockout specialist or whatever. He always fights a little bit with a lot of wrestling in it as well, I think. It's a close fight, to be really honest, man. I think Dalby probably is the favorite, not? Or am I wrong?
And it's slight favorite for Tim Means in all the sports.
Oh wow, I'm actually surprised by that. I'm going with Tim Means though. I think he's going to win the fight via a very close split decision. We're going here, but it's close, can go either way. But I'm kind of surprised Means is the favorite. I didn't expect that.
Yeah, this is a really close fight. Like it's going to be close on the scorecards. I think it does go the distance. Just the way these guys fight, I think it'll probably take place on the feet. But the difference to me is Dalby does have some wrestling, and Tim Means' takedown defense can be questionable. I think Dalby can mix it up a little bit, Marcel, and win a decision here. I mean, the guy's pretty solid. Like he's got a great record in his career. I mean, he's been solid overall. He's coming off a win over Daniel Rodriguez. Super close fight, but still a great win. I know he lost to Ronson before that. Lost some fights he should have won, but I mean the guy is pretty solid. What are you gonna say?
Remember that weird ass fight against Darren Till, that crazy one
where
they drew.
yeah, exactly. I mean it was a good fight. Like it was a good
that was the first time I really actually heard Darren Till speak.
Yeah,
after the fight. That was a great interview.
Listen, I love both. I like both guys. I love Tim Means. Same. I mean the guy is super exciting. I love watching this dude fight, but I'm thinking Dalby outpoints some guys and wins the decision. That's what I'm thinking. As much as I don't want to say it because I love Tim Means. He's my boy. But, he was one of the first guys I ever interviewed. It was like 2012 when he fought. I want to see who he fought. It was – when he fought Danny not Danny Castillo. Who was it? Justin Salas, I think. I think that was the fight. That was the – yeah, I think that was the one. Yeah, so long ago. Second fight, man. That was like 20 fights ago. So, I mean, I love the guy. He's lost these close decisions before, like Bilal Muhammad, Sergio Moraes, like – he can lose these close fights. So Borgen says Means the habit of losing close decisions. I agree. Dalby's a habit of winning them lately. Yeah. Maybe get a draw on this one. I mean, just based on how Dalby fights, it's possible. But yeah, I'm just thinking Dalby wins a really close split decision, Marcel. That's what I'm thinking for this one. So I'll take the slight underdog, but it's a close fight, like Marcel said. Andre Fili, Daniel Pineda. All right. Give me your thoughts on this one, guys. Andre Fili is a pretty big favorite, minus 225, plus 185 for Daniel the Pit Pineda. Give me your thoughts, Marcel.
Yeah, I'm pretty convinced on my pick here. Daniel Pineda, he looked good in his UFC debut against Herbert Burns. Before that, he got signed after getting suspended by PFL, and his 2 big wins against Movlid Kaibulaev and Jeremy Kennedy got overturned in a no contest.
Yep.
So I was actually surprised the UFC re-signed him. Because he fought in the UFC before. Looked good against Burns, but didn't look good against Cap Swanson, in my opinion, and he got knocked out. Andre Fili, on the other hand, he fought Bryce Mitchell in his most recent fight. He lost a decision. Before that, Charles Jourdain fight, I think he should have won that one by unanimous decision, not a split decision. The thing is with Andre Fili, he looks good against the guys he should look good against. You know what I mean? He wins the fights, in my opinion. He should win against the guys he should win against. Sometimes he loses a split decision or a decision that he actually should have won, but he didn't. Do you still understand what I say? Because I don't
Yep.
understand what I say myself. But bottom line, I think Andre Fili is a better fighter overall. I think Andre Fili via decision in this one.
Yeah, I agree with Marcel on this one too. I think you laid it out. He's the better, more complete mixed martial artist. I think more solid overall, and he's got good wrestling too. Like he mixes up his wrestling really well in his fights. Marcel, like it bails him out of fights. It didn't work against Bryce Mitchell really, but it does bail him out of his fights. Like it helped against Charles Jourdain. I think he got dropped in that fight, right? But he used his wrestling to overcome it. So yeah, I think that's what he'll do to Pineda here. Kind of tire him out. Pineda, he is coming off an knockout loss to Cub Swanson, and maybe it's possible Andre Fili could get his chin too. Like I know, listen, Herbert Burns gassed out in that fight. He was winning that fight and gassed out. I don't really see Andre Fili gassing out. He's never gassed out before. He's got great cardio. I don't see him gassing out.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, Herbert Burns is not good. Cardio is not great. But Fili, I mean, the guy goes 3 rounds every fight and fights hard. He'll fight hard for your money too. Like even if he loses, Marcel, I don't think it'd be like he wouldn't get blown out. I think he would make it close. So I like Fili in this fight, guys. I think he should win. All right, we got a couple left here. By the way, I'm just looking at best fight odds is so different now. I know you guys probably feel the same way, but I just wanted to mention one tidbit. The ref thing at the end, people were asking what that is. That is Bet Online. So people were asking. I'm just going by 5 dimes for the purposes of this podcast, though. Let's go to the next fight here, Marcel. Danilo Marquez against Kennedy Nzechukwu. And Nzechukwu minus 125, Marquez plus 105. What do you think, man?
Yeah, this is also an odd fight, to be really honest, man. Danilo Marquez was actually supposed to fight Ed Herman. Kennedy Nzechukwu takes a fight on short notice. Yeah, the thing with Nzechukwu, I still don't know what to really think about him. You know what I mean?
Yep.
We saw him twice in the Contender Series. He both won the fights. Got signed the second time by the UFC. Was winning against Paul Craig, I'm sorry. And then Paul Craig, I don't know where, won the fight via triangle choke submission in the last minute of the round, after losing 14 minutes of the round before, like he loves to do. So good on him. Then the Stosic fight, he won that. Were multiple groin kicks by Stosic. I actually calculated it, and he would have still won via split decision if there weren't those groin kicks. And then the Carlos Alberg fight, which was a crazy fight, he got teed off in the first round. Then Alberg completely gassed out, and Nzechukwu won the fight. It was a fight of the night, by the way.
Great fight.
Yeah, amazing fight. Danilo Marquez, two fights in the UFC. First fight against Khadis Ibrahimov. Yeah, Ibrahimov absolutely never reached the potential he had at M1 Global. Really bad in the UFC for whatever
0-4, Marcel.
Yeah. Crazy, actually.
Yep.
This was actually, I remember this. A lot of people were like, now he gets a fight to get a win in the UFC, and then he still lost. The Mike Rodriguez, the thing with Mike Rodriguez, he's also so inconsistent all the time. And Marquez did perfectly. He subbed. I think he subbed him unconscious, if I'm correctly, Mike Rodriguez. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm sure you know. Difficult fight, man. If Marquez gets this fight to the ground, he can win this fight. But on the other hand, I think Nzechukwu has the power and has the class to defeat him here. Also want to mention Danilo Marquez has a beautiful win on his record against Mark Polimeno, a guy that is 0-25. Every Brazilian fighter has him on his winning record. So I'm taking Kennedy in this one, man. Don't get caught in the submission, Kennedy. Then you will win the fight, unanimous decision. Or let's go with a TKO in the third round, late TKO.
There you go. Wow. Okay, there you go. And I don't disagree with it really. You know what? Like, Danilo, he's not bad. Like, but he's very one-dimensional, man. He's very one-dimensional, guys. Like, all he really does is take you to the ground. Like, he doesn't have much striking. He has a little bit of striking, but not really. Like, he's a ground specialist. That's what he wants to do. The thing is, Kennedy's very hard to get to the ground. Even when he does get taken down, he bounces up really quick, man. And on the feet, I mean, we know he's got a super long reach, 6-inch reach advantage in this fight. The guy has got a ton of heart. He's super tough. We saw that. Great chin, great cardio. Yeah, I mean, Marquez, I think has to finish him in the first round with a submission probably to win this fight. I think otherwise Kennedy's going to be overwhelming with striking as the fight goes on. You know, it's funny. Like I just Googled or I put on YouTube Dylan Marquez, right? And I watched a few of his fights, and then one came up. I assumed he would win it. I watch it. It's this guy Marcel Dorff. It says, guys, he gets absolutely starched in the first minute. Like I don't know how good this guy's chin is, and really hasn't fought good competition that's tested it. Mike Rodriguez, yeah, he's a decent striker. He gets taken out easily. Ibrahimov is not a good fighter. Like these guys he fought are not good. So Kennedy's fought some pretty good guys now. Not great, but decent. Like, and quite frankly, I mean, he was going to win that Paul Craig fight. Made him a huge mistake with a minute left. It was stupid. He lost the fight, but coming off a quality win over Alberg and good win over Stosic before that, Marcel, in a fight where again he showed a lot of heart, man. I'm not going to bet against this guy. What are you going to say?
Yeah, I know you're a huge fan of Khadis Ibrahimov.
No, no. But you know, like I think this guy will like maybe overcome a tough first round and come back and win the fight in the second or third. I kind of feel exactly, man. Yeah, I feel the same way as you. So that's what I'm thinking happens. I think in Chekaru maybe by second or third on TKO, he overwhelms him with strikes. I know he's taking on short notice, but this guy has good cardio and he trains at Fortis. I'm sure he's been training and getting ready for a fight, short notice. His manager and coach Saif, it's always got those guys working. Okay, 2 fights left, guys. And just comment from Beancat. He says, Stosic destroyed Kennedy's legs. Still understand why Alberg didn't throw leg kicks. Yeah, Alberg, dude, he didn't move his head either. I was watching that fight again the other day. It's just like he just thought he could knock the guy out, but the guy is so tough. He's got like a brick head. He can't knock out Kennedy.
The thing with Alberg is he's MMA experience.
Yeah, he's very one-dimensional, very really experienced.
A really young in his MMA career still. You know what I mean? And I really had the feeling, like Adam said, like he was thinking gonna knock this guy out in the first minute. You know, and that didn't happen.
Yeah. No, the other thing I was going to mention is like, you know, an Alberg. How old is Alberg? He's 30. He's just 30, but this guy Marquez is 35. Guys, like he's an older dude, you know, and he doesn't have a ton of MMA fights. And to me, yeah, he's looked good with his grappling, and he can beat a lot of guys just based on that. But Kennedy's got good takedown defense. I think he wins this fight. All right, co-main event: Ovince St. Preux against Tanner Boser, the Canadian. Marcel. Tanner Boser right now is the favorite. Where's the odds? So hard. I hate the redesign on this website, man. Where is this? I cannot find it for the life of me right now. Oh, here it is at the bottom, of course. Co-main event right at the bottom. All right, minus 170 for Boser, plus 150 for OSP. And Tanner Boser, James interviewed him, and he said that he's just been in quarantine since he lost that fight to Ilir Latifi. You have to do like a 2-week quarantine in Canada, so he hasn't even been training. He said besides just chilling in his like room and doing push-ups and like some weight training in his condo. He said, but he's like literally taking no training camp, jumping right back in the plane and coming to Vegas for this fight against OSP, who was supposed to fight at light heavyweight originally against Maxime Grishin. And I was kind of liking Grisham in that fight. And in this one, Marcel, he's moving up to heavyweight. So we did see him at heavyweight last year against Ben Rothwell. Did not look great at heavyweight. Nicholas West, what's up, man? Glad to see you here, buddy. Give me your thoughts on this one, Marcel. It's at heavyweight. It's kind of weird. What do you think, Boser and OSP?
I heard OSP saying like I did look good at heavyweight against Ben Rothwell. I was like, no, you actually didn't. No disrespect, but you didn't. Light heavyweight is his weight class. He's now going up at heavyweight to fight Tanner Boser. I don't know if it's a good idea, to be honest, man. I think Tanner Boser. Listen, man, Tanner Boser has lost a lot of his hype, man, after losing two fights. In the fight against Arlovsky, I actually think he won. You know, the Latifi fight is questionable as well. I scored it for Latifi. I know many people did score it for Arlovsky, for Boser. So you can question both of his losses, to be really honest. It's actually his only legit loss where everybody is in agreement that he lost that fight is against Ciryl Gane in the UFC. Mm-hmm. So the thing is, Tanner Boser knows his back is against the wall, man. He lost 2 fights. He needs to win this one. It's against a light heavyweight coming to heavyweight, unranked. Boser has to win this fight, and he knows that. I think Ovince St. Preux doesn't look good at heavyweight at all. That's my opinion. Does he have a chance? 100%. Does Tanner Boser tap from a front flute choke? I don't think he will. You know, give me Tanner Boser here. I think Tanner Boser wins the unanimous decision here against Ovince St. Preux.
Yeah, it's just listen, guys. Like it's hard to trust him, right? After the last 2 fights,
Mhm.
But I still got to go with Tanner because I do think he's the bigger fighter, the stronger guy at heavyweight. And I think overall he's probably the better fighter right now, just overall. His ground game's not great. If the fight goes to the ground, I wouldn't be freaking out because OSP can finish it with that Von Preux stroke. We'll call it the Von Preux Marcel. But it's like, I don't know, at heavyweight, I think he's going to have a hard time taking down Boser. Like Latifi is a big, strong man. Like he only got a few takedowns. It was super close. Like you said, he's back against the wall. He's super pissed off, guys. Like he really wants to get this win. And, OSP is a good fighter. You don't want to completely count this guy out. I mean, he's pulled off a lot of upsets, man. I mean, even recently, like Menefield knocked him out. I called him there. He was an underdog. It was nice. Michael Oleksiak, that was an upset. Tyson Pedro. Actually, all of his wins lately have been upsets, right? Corey Anderson. They're all upsets, Marcel, but a lot of losses too, man. And kind of getting to the end of his career at 38 years old, guys. I mean, I remember watching this guy in Strikeforce like 10 years ago, man. It's crazy. Like, and he's still fighting at a high level. So I have a lot of respect for OSP. I actually think he should be ranked like number 15 in the light heavyweight division. I think he should be ranked. Or, yeah, because he's going up to heavyweight for this one. But I think he should have been ranked. And I think he's a little bit underrated in general. But I don't like this match for him. And I think that Boser could potentially even knock him out. But if not, he wins the decision. That's what Nicholas says. He likes a volume decision.
I think he actually switched places last time out when he lost to Jamal Hill. Jamal Hill got ranked.
That makes sense. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. But I think like Misha probably shouldn't be in there anymore. There's a few guys. Anyways, let's go to the main event, guys. Heavyweights: Ciryl Gane, Alexander Volkov. Love this fight. Minus 165 for Gane, plus 145 for Drago. Give me your thoughts on this one, man.
Yeah, I'm actually upset by the odds because I was hoping it was the other way around. The thing is, Volkov, I know everybody's super high on Volkov, but to be really honest, the only fight he really impressed me in the UFC is against Overeem in the last fight, The Harris fight, I expect him to win that fight. The Blades fight, he got dominated, and I think he won the last round, but he got dominated in the first four. The Greg Hardy win, he should have won that fight. He won the fight, but he didn't look great in that fight. Before that, he lost to Derek Lewis in the last round, in the last 10 seconds of the last round, in the fight he was winning. He defeated Werdum after Werdum gassed out in the fourth round. I remember him in his debut winning against Tim Johnson in a fight I think he lost. So the thing is, the only time I was really impressed by him is in his most recent fight against Alistair Overeem. But we have to take in consideration that Alistair Overeem is also not anymore the youngest guy on the roster. Now he's taking on Ciryl Gane. Ciryl Gane is only in the MMA pro since 2018. But he has looked good, man, in his MMA career so far, man. I really like him. I mean, the dude has a heel hook win as a heavyweight against Dontail Mace in 2019. Looked good against Junior Dos Santos. Looked solid against Boser. The Rosenstruck fight, listen, man, many people have some thoughts about it and didn't like how we fought. But he was just... He did what he needed to do to win that fight. There was almost the only threat Rosenstruck had that he could knock him out, but Rosenstruck never let the hands go in that fight. So now fighting Volkov, I'm pretty sure Volkov will let his hands go in this fight, so Gane has to fight differently probably. But man, I feel Gane is probably the best young heavyweight in the division. And young, I know he is not in his 20s anymore. He's 31 already, but it's still young for a heavyweight. You got a lot of older heavyweights in the division. Can Volkov win this fight? Maybe he can, man. He's a good fighter, and he impressed me last time out. Maybe he impressed me again. But I'm more impressed by Ciryl Gane. Although maybe we can say Volkov had a better position so far in his overall in his career, I think Gane is going to win this fight. I'm taking Ciryl Gane via decision in this one.
There you go. I want to hear your guys' thoughts on this one. You guys throw it in the chats. We got Nick saying he thinks Gane's going to win a split decision, and Chris Lee's scorecard is going to be asked backwards. Yes, I think that's very, very possible. All right, Boring says Volkov won rounds 4 and 5 versus Blades. Put on 20 pounds of muscle since then, 2 finishes. Yeah, he looked phenomenal against Wall Harris and against Alistair Overeem. Yeah, I mean, this fight's really interesting. I really like this fight. Initial lean was definitely gone. Looking at the last couple of fights again, though, man, it's like Volkov's looked really good, guys. Like, I don't know if I'm going to, bet on Ciryl Gane because that was my plan, but I'm not sure because Volkov really is a good striker, and he's got tons of power. He's really using his reach well now, too. He's a big, long, tall guy. Like, he matches Gane in those areas. So it's an interesting matchup. But here's the thing. Gane tweeted something today saying, he said, I'm going to show you guys version 3.0 of me because I'm disappointed in the last fight or whatever, right? So I think he can still show us new things, Marcel. We know what Volkov is. Volkov's a striker with power. We know that. But Gane right now we know he's good, but Marcel, I think he can be great in the sport. I really do. So I'm 100% with you, man. I believe in this guy, and I'm going to pick him here. But I respect Volkov's improvements enough lately that it's not one that I'm like, running to the book to hit Gane here as a favorite. I'm thinking he probably does win a decision like you, Marcel. I feel the same way, but man, Volkov is a very experienced guy with power. So it wouldn't surprise me at all if he wins. But I'm just thinking Gane mixes it up, Marcel. I think he can get some takedowns. Maybe he can get a submission again. I mean, we'll see. So, yeah, guys, I don't know. Let's see what guys are saying. Beancat says Volkov had no training camp for Blades because of COVID. Yeah. And he didn't look – and his cardio looked good. Obviously, he got taken down for a few rounds there. Overeem kind of done and Walt's one-dimensional. I agree with that completely. Even if Gane uses it can be great. I agree with that too. I mean, just like that guy Miguel Baeza a few weeks ago. I think that guy can be awesome, right? And he lost his last fight, but I still think overall he's going to have a better career than Ponzinibbio probably. Go ahead.
If you lose as a prospect, lose like that, like Miguel Baeza did,
I mean, like even Mackenzie Dern lost recently to like Amanda Rivas, and she bounced back so quick. Like you can bounce back really, especially a heavyweight. So even if Gane loses, you're right. I mean, it's not like I'm not saying it's the end of the world. I'm just saying like I just think he could be great in the sport. I think this guy. They were talking about him. Him and Francis. They were training together in France, right? But it looks like Francis probably has the more power and everything. But overall, as a fighter, it sure seems like Gane is really, And again, Marcel, you're right. Like he's still green in MMA. Like he's a Muay Thai fighter, right? I've been impressed by the guy's improvements. And again, I remember when he heel hooked Mays, I was like, holy crap, this guy's going to be a champion one day just because of that one. I know you're the same way. Like sometimes you just see a guy do something so special. I remember when Chris Weidman knocked out Mark Munoz with that elbow. I was like, this guy's going to win the belt one day, and he did. Like you just see it sometimes with these fighters, right? You're like, damn, this guy's special. So go ahead.
With who I had that. I had that with, and now people are going to laugh. I had that with Henan Barao when he finished Brad Pickett. The way he finished Brad Pickett, the easiness, the slickness, and his submission, I was like, dude, this guy's going to be champion. This guy's going to be champion. I felt that at that moment, and it happened. So I was like,
me too, actually, with him too. Yeah, that's another one too. I felt the same way. So there's always this guy. I'm sure you guys felt some with other people. Like I know some people thought that with Moreno. Probably I didn't see that coming. But by the way, I saw him. He went shopping for some Lego today. Good.
Yeah,
that's a champ the UFC needs, guys. Like you need a guy like that. I grew up playing with Legos, so for me that's super cool. I don't play with it anymore, but yeah, that's amazing. Whenever I hopefully my kid plays with it. Anyways, Marcel. Yeah, I mean, like overall, it's a pretty good card, guys. We're just a little past an hour here. That's okay. Yeah, it's a good card. I like it. It's gonna be good. 13 fights. Hopefully, cross fingers that everything stays intact, no COVID issues and everything like that. Also, this week we have PFL, we have Bellator, but I'll break those down Thursday with AJ. We're done with this one. Marcel, I want to say there's some other news going on that I'm completely forgetting. Was there something you want to talk about? I might be forgetting. Some news out there. Let me take a look, guys. Oh,
I don't know.
Wait a second here. Yeah, let me take a look here. There wasn't a ton out there besides obviously the Usman thing that thing is talking about Cole earlier. So yeah, nothing really breaking. Okay, tell your stuff, Marcel. Let's get out of here, man.
Yeah, you can follow me on my not verified accounts on Instagram and Twitter with BigMarcel24. And you can follow MMADNA.nl on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and wherever you can find it. And thank you so much, Adam, man. You're great.
Yeah, and go back to the beginning of the podcast, guys, and I explained why Marcel didn't get verified. He'll explain it to you, too. He will get it. He just made a mistake. I'll get these questions to you before we get out of here, guys, but I just want to plug myself quickly. Adam Martin on Twitter, on MMAOB.com. I got some articles coming out this week there. BJPen.com, Elite Fantasy, Elite Sports Betting, and my MMA News. Got some articles there today. So a lot of places, man. I'm just going to get these comments here quickly. Big Bird says, Barcelo's value. Dude, I agree. He says the best fight. I said it should be on the main card, so I'm completely with you, Big Bird. Born again, Charles Oliveira when he beat Escudero. Yeah. That was like what 10 years ago now, 11 years ago. Yeah, that's a great call. Nick West, he says thanks for the breakdowns. Yeah, man. I appreciate you joining us, man. All you guys, thank you. Born again. What's up with 265? 7 weeks out, no main event. Yeah, Ngannou, he wants to fight Jones. That's not going to happen. He's going to end up signing for Lewis. Probably gets a little bit more money out of it. I'm with you. Nunes and Payne is a co-main event. It's a main event. They are stacking the deck with some prelims and stuff. Marcel, you know more about the card than me. Go ahead.
I know that it's Nunes Pena is probably the co-main event. They still want to book a main event for that one, but there's nothing new at this moment, as far as I know.
Fair enough. And I'll get this question from Glenn. He says, it's been over a year since the UFC salaries were released. What do you think of the UFC 263 figures? Some of these sad numbers. Let me pull them up again. I saw them the other day. I know that Izzy made like 500,000, I want to say, to win. I don't know if they put the win bonuses, though, Glenn. Let me double check them. Oh, they did. Okay. So, okay. So we got Izzy coming in at 500,000. This is the last thing I'll talk about, guys. Then we'll get out of here. Izzy 500,000, no win bonus. Marvin made 350. That's good money. I mean, Izzy should get pay-per-view points too. I would guess. I mean, obviously you'd want these guys to make these 7 figures, but we all have the salary on this point. Nate Diaz 250. Leon Edwards with the win bonus 220. Figueroa made 210, 200 for Marino. I mean, these salaries are pretty nice, but then I know what you're saying. You get down the card a little bit. Like, Maya made 175. I could see why Dana White wants to cut him now because, I mean, that's a lot of money. I mean, for a guy that, didn't put on a great showing there. But, yeah, I mean, you look down the card. I know what you're saying. There's some guys like Ferris DM, 14-14. Terrence McKinney, 12-12 for this kid. And he didn't get a bonus for performance of the night, which I think he should have got. That sucks, man. That's such BS. He followed me on Twitter today, by the way. He probably saw. Maybe he heard that I picked him. And I was like all over the guy. Thank you, Terrence. But yeah, I like the kid. He's a great fighter. So that's criminal. I know what you're saying now. With the any thoughts on these salaries, Marcel? I don't know if you see them.
No, I haven't seen them. I heard about it.
I'll pull them up right now. Let me pull them up.
Okay,
I was gonna stay here for a minute. We'll talk about it. I gotta get going in a minute, but we'll finish this. Here's the main card which I talked about, and then we'll go down here. So yeah, we had, I mean, Ferris made a little bit, and yeah,
McKinney should have got the bonus for sure.
I know. Anyways, we're gonna get out of here, guys. Oh, I got one more question. Go ahead.
Sometimes it's like they wanted to keep the let's say the lower guys on the prelim card. They want to keep them poor, and the guys who are up on the main card, they want to give them even more than they already have. So it's kind of weird to me. So.
Beancat, I can answer that. It's not 265. They got moved as 266. That one got moved from September 4th to the 25th, right? That's the one that got moved.
Yeah, that's because
I think 265 is still on August 5th, right?
It is, man. The 266 got moved because they wanted to do Darren Till against Derek Brunson on that date first, and then it got shuffled to there. And man, I'm serious, man. I still don't see them do a card in England, man. They're going on lockdown again. So
I know. I agree with you. All right, guys, we're in a little bit overtime, but we got to get out of here. I got to have dinner. Marcel's got to go to bed. But thanks again for everyone who joined us today. It was a lot of fun, and I'll be back Thursday at 4 p.m. Eastern, back to normal time. And until then, for me, for Big Marcel, have a great day, guys.